I got guys that work for me that are 33 years old, make $1 million a year. They negotiated the right deal for them, found the right guy. Negotiating isn't always about buying this piece of furniture, right? They negotiated with themselves as well as the marketplace. First of all, I was so busy working. By the time I was 33, I think 31 or 32, somewhere in there. One day I looked at them, I'm like, oh wow, I got $1 million. Nobody makes $1 million, right? You accumulate.
Yeah.
One day you're like, oh, I got $1 million in a bank account. That's what makes a millionaire. Everybody's gonna make $1 million. You make 50 grand a year for 20 years, you made $1 million. You know, but accumulating $1 million. Now I got $1 million, I'm like, damn, this is nothing. Which is like terrifying.
There's a line in Wall Street where Bud Fox says, I never knew how poor I was until I started making a little bit of money.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I remember one year I made 650 grand. The guy looked at me. I was telling somebody, I said, I made 600 grand this year. And he's like, how do you live on that? Yeah, time is money, right? If time is money, and I'm compressing things. So a guy told me, he's like, I said, who do you think works harder, me or you? He's like, oh, he does. He's convinced he works harder than any person in the world.
It's Gary V.
Yeah, me. I said, yeah, but who gets more done, dude? Who monetizes more faster? These are the bigger questions, not who works harder. It's who puts the branches and the pecans and the leaves in the bag without making the biggest mess. Like that is what a business is. It's not about making a mess or doing a bunch of work or looking all raggedy ass at the end of the day. It's how much can you get done with time, right? And
that's a meme gone wrong on social media. I hustle, work all the time. It just means you're out there making a bunch of motions.
Dude, like I don't want to hustle. I want to prosper. I don't want to grind. I want to create a machine that monetizes. You know, I'm not shameful of money. I want money. I want a lot of money. I want to give money away. I want to raise a lot of money. You can't do that if you're broke. So
poor people are selfish.
They definitely.
Explain that.
Poor people are extremely selfish people. And the concept here is you're thinking about yourself all the time. What you don't have, what you need, your clothing, your shelter, your excuses, your problems. And I say that with no sympathy, because sympathy's not gonna feed you. Okay? The poor people, and people, by the way, that just get by are poor. So really the thing we need to define here is what is poor, right?
Yeah,
Almost everyone living below your potential, you're probably poor. You're not rich, you're not prosperous, you're poor, which is the middle class of the planet. I'm not talking about poverty. You know, that guy's not poor. That guy he's out of choices. He's got to beg. The poor, the middle class, the described poor, middle class, nice name to keep everybody civil. You know, Queen's got 900 rooms over there.
Hey, they've been running game here longer than anybody else.
Dude,
think about it.
Please.
Aristocracy, keep people in check, limited land resources. There's a brain game going on here with your accent. Telling you, these are the OGs of this story.
Yeah.
Take note.
The Americans are like, we can't do the class thing. If we do it, we got to get that middle class,
right,
to feel good about themselves.
And they
don't do what they did to the French chick.
Right, they chop the heads off.
Exactly.
So they give them the cars and the over-leveraged homes, and they make them feel like they're rich, but they're not.
Yeah, like let's give them homes, let's give them cars, let's indebt them, give them a good job, give them a good office, you know, big watches, and we got slaves. But they feel good about it because they're better off than some, you know, starving kid in Ethiopia. So that's why I say, man, look, the middle class is a group of selfish, self-absorbed, think about themselves. I'm not going to be a salesman. I'm better than that. You know, I'm a banker, dude. I'm the vice president without a job. I'm not going backwards. I'm not going to use Facebook and Instagram. I'm not going to do that to get known. I'm not going to go to that meeting. I'm not going to drive there. I got kids. This is a mother. I got 2 kids you don't understand. I'm English. That works in America. All this is selfish bullshit. You know, it's just selfish.
And you say selfish, not
It's self-centered, man.
Right.
What does selfish mean? It means I'm interested in self, right?
And the preservation.
I'm a drug addict.
Okay.
That's selfish. You're talking about yourself. Everything that starts with I, you know. And by the way, I am selfish. So I'm not denying it. You guys that are fighting it, you know, you don't like me right now. You'll learn to like me. If you come back, you'll start getting it.
You make horrible first impressions, right?
I make terrible first
You're making a good one on me, Grant.
Well, you're because you are who you are, though. You've confronted your demons, right? You're looking at your weaknesses. I've looked at my weaknesses, so I can see other people's. And I don't see them as one person anymore. Like when I was 30 years old and I saw the sales process, I'm like, this is terrible for everybody. It's terrible for the user, the sales guy that's got to lie, not answer questions. That's lying, man. So it's terrible for the customer. Ultimately, it's going to be terrible for the industry. Slows everything down. You remember the old adage was like, the longer you spent with somebody, the better off you are. I'm like, this is stupid.
Not true.
Why do I want to spend a long time getting a job done? Right? So when I saw that, I'm an observation person. Like I see things. My eyes are wide open. And so when I see that, I'm like, well, that's dumb. When I see me over the years say, I don't have time for Facebook, man. I say, oh, wait, that Facebook thing might be that gift. I was asking for something to scale. How can I scale the planet? Facebook comes along, the first thing I say is, that's stupid. And I heard that. Okay, every time I've ever said something was dumb or stupid, meant I didn't understand it. That's code for I don't understand it, right? And then I wake up, it's like a caution light goes off in my mind and says, pay attention to that thing. And then I went and got a Facebook page. I didn't hire somebody to give me a Facebook page. I didn't delegate it to somebody else. I went and built my own, learned how to use it, found out what was there, you know, played in that space for a little while, and then I heard about Twitter. So I'm off topic, but the point is that these are gifts, man. They're being delivered to the planet right now. Every day they're being delivered, and whoever can play the game the best and decipher between truth and like leaving that treatment center. You're never gonna make it, dude. If you do all these things. I bought that bullshit, by the way. I wouldn't write a book for 26 years. And that book was in me at 25. I should have written that book at 25.
And why didn't you?
The dude told me, man, leave it alone, man.
Don't
I
go
bought
too
it.
big.
I bought it to some degree.
Right, even though you told them to fuck off.
Yeah,
still
but I
kinda-
bought it.
It was in there somehow.
I bought it.
And just to finish off with the middle class, they're being selfish because they're not willing to dare. They're not willing to bruise their own ego and get out of their comfort zone and actually do something. And they hide behind this thing of I'm
No,
poor.
you're doing something. You're just not doing enough to get out of the middle class.
Okay.
You're doing more than everybody. And then you stop doing what's necessary. So 2008, when the economy crashed, right? That was a crash, by the way. That was a full-on depression. And anybody calls it less than that, it's not confronting reality. So, and there will be another reckoning. There will be longer, deeper, and more harmful to more people. That stripped off the like, we're in another, whatever we're in right now is la la land. So people need to be made aware over and over. The marketplace disciplines the undisciplined. And right now people are undisciplined again.
Right, and 08 just basically destroyed a lot of people's egos, took their comfort zones out of them and said, okay, how are you gonna make it through this? You gotta go deep. You gotta see what you're gonna be made of, right?
Yeah, and then 08 was, for me, was a game changer. Like,
How so?
that was the gift. That was the ultimate gift in my life. Best thing ever happened to me.
What happened?
Almost had everything taken away. So 08, I guess I'd been doing business for 20 years. I was a millionaire many times. But I got down to my last 6 or 8 or something, man. I was like, damn, dude.
Because you had put your money in real estate.
Well, what happened was the first two businesses, the first business was a consulting business where I gave these guys this idea about sales. Second business was a consulting business for car dealers where we went and just worked in the car industry. That's all we did. Those two businesses, they were really hand in hand. I would do this one thing that supported this second thing. The second business was very symbiotic to the first one, which is something I really recommend to people starting a second business. It shouldn't be separated. It should be like hand in glove. They really should fit together.
Different staff?
Oh, different staff.
Different staff, okay.
But the first one should support. Any movement in the first one should support, like they're moving like this.
Okay.
You know, it's almost like a flotilla. They're running together.
Interesting.
And then the third business was a separate business. It was basically, because these two were producing cash, I needed a third business not dependent upon my genius, my personality. And this was the first business that could run by itself. It was apartments, unlike what you have here. You don't really have what I buy in the UK. So these are large apartment complexes, 50 units, 100, 300 units, 500 units, where people rent where they live.
Okay. Right, not these tall skyscrapers, because most people buy individual units.
No. Those are single units in a big building, right? Okay. That a bunch of people share. These are. I want the renter. I don't want to sell the unit.
Right.
I want the cash flow. That was the third business.
Okay. And why real estate? Why that asset class for you? You said before you only invest in things you can see.
Yeah, I've just always loved real estate. I think most people resonate. Real property resonates with people. Unfortunately, most people just buy the wrong kind of real estate. Again, it's a selfish decision to have a home.
Okay. Most people shouldn't buy a home.
No one should buy a home.
Interesting. Which is the opposite of the American
Homes
dream.
were not built for people. Homes were built for banks. The bank created that product to sell money. You can't just loan people money. You need a product in between. Like when people start really understanding what I'm telling them, they're like, wait, what did he just say? The bank can't lend money for just money. Like you need a reason to borrow money. Oh, you're starting a business. That's a reason, but it's really risky for the bank. What if a bunch of bankers sitting around drinking bourbon? Dude, we need to lend more money. We got to lend money out, man. That's how we make money. We get people to give us $1. We lend it out 9 times. I read that book when I was a kid, man, when I was 16 years old. So we lend it out 9 times. We need something to lend the money on. So back in the 50s, they're like, everybody should have a home. They grinned. Everybody should have a home, right? Oh man, that's pretty good. We should call it something like the American dream. Can't just call it a house, right? Everyone should have one, right? They got the politicians behind it. Yes, everyone should have one. And then what they did was basically those homes were built for banks, because who made all the money on the homes? Wasn't even the builder. Certainly wasn't the homeowner. It was always the banks.